Hey, Power Factor fans. I've reported a few times on the new shooting sport, Action Shooting International, and you're getting kind of tired of it, but I like to plug it. The sport was developed by three of my shooting buddies, guys that I've known and been shooting with for 15 or 20 years. It's been running for about the last year and a half here in the Seattle area, while kind of the bugs are gotten out of it, the rules and the stage designs and various, startup problems that some of the clubs have had can all be addressed while they're local to the match inventors, developers. And so it's going to go nationwide, I think, in January. So keep an eye out for it. I've shot a couple of matches. I've talked before about how I got my start in practical shooting at what used to be called Interlake, I think it was Interlake Rod and Gun Club back in the day. It's in Kirkland, Washington. That was my home club, and it was the home of the Northwest Practical Pistol Association, which has been around for 30 plus years. I was interested. It was kind of funny to show up at the match and see some of the guys that I used to shoot with at Interlake when I was shooting USPSA there. And one of the guys actually had a patch that said Northwest Practical Pistol Association IPSC sewed on his range bag. So I'm assuming that predates USPSA. So it was kind of cool. I was just kind of like seeing familiar faces again. But it was again ASI, elements of USPSA, IDPA, GSSF, movement on most stages, a little bit of prop manipulation. But it's very simple, no classes, no divisions, run what you brung. And the elements that are similar to IDPA are that you're using cover when there's cover provided, but instead of trying to decide is the shooter in or out of cover, ASI just uses foot fault lines, similar to what you see in USPSA. If you're standing inside the line, you're using cover. If you're standing outside the line, you're violating cover. So it's pretty easy for the shooter, pretty easy for the safety officers, but it's not quite as the requirement of cover is not quite as strict as it is in IDPA. The idea that you can't have more of your body hanging out than 50%. You can in ASI you have quite a bit of your leg hanging out, quite a bit of your upper body hanging out, but it does make officiating somewhat easier. And it was just a fun match, as I pointed out, before when I talked about it. 4 stages, about 50 rounds. So if you're not a real dedicated competition shooter, like today I shot an IDPA match. I was match director, showed up at the range at 7:45 to do setup, get shooters registered. I was the last man off the range after 2 o'clock. So that's a good chunk of your afternoon to shoot 7 stages and about 90 rounds. So your typical ASI match, it's going to be 4 stages, about 50 rounds. Show up for registration a little before 10, and you might be out of there on your way home before 1 o'clock. So it's a great opportunity for people, especially if they're not really dedicated competition shooters, to spend a day at the range, get some shots down range, developing those gun handling skills that you get from shooting practical pistol. And it was just a fun time. I was squatted with a guy that he stopped shooting USPSA about the same time I started, and he's probably 20 years older than I am, but he showed up and he's like going, hey, this is a great game. I don't have to be an athlete to compete. I don't have to run around. There's never more than 4 or 5 steps between shooting positions. Just like, this is awesome, And then I was also squatted with a kid who's about 12 years old. He was shooting a rimfire pistol. There were women. How bad can that be? But it's just a fun time, and I really enjoyed it. And so for 2017, especially if you're at a club, at a range, you're a range member, and you're trying to get practical pistol competition started there, ASI is a great way to go. Like I mentioned earlier, there hasn't been practical pistol competition at Interlake in 15 years. But we had an ASI match there, and they're shooting now there every month. So in 2017, keep an eye out for it. It's a good time. If you're at a range, looking to get it started, contact the guys at ASI, Sandy, T-Ron, Robin. They're all great guys. Lots of experience. They know what they're doing. So check it out.
Hey guys, welcome to Power Factor. This is a quick segment. I want to talk a little product review. And this product is called Speed Sights. That's right. So have you guys ever heard of Speed Sights? I've heard of them. they've been on my radar for a few years. and been kind of thinking about maybe trying some speed sights. My first reaction was, come on, speed sights? Sounds kind of hokey, right? It's just the name is like, implies, buy this product and miracles will happen, right? It's a miracle product, speed sights. So, but I've looked at their website many times and I've thought, I think maybe there's something to that. And so I finally decided to give it a try. And I just, we just talked about the GSSF match in the previous segment, and I put these on the gun on my Glock 19 just prior to the match. I put at my previous USPSA match, I installed the sights and I brought it to the USPSA match, and I put 2 mags through it, took some headshots, real slow headshots, not off a bench rest, but just standing, slow headshots at like 15 or more yards, something about 15 yards, let's say. And I was like, okay, I'm hitting the head, I'm a hair left, but I'm kind of always a hair left with this gun. It's completely stock trigger and everything else. Nothing trick about it. First gun I ever bought. It's a very, very early Gen 3 gun. There's some things on this Gen 3 gun that they quickly changed as part of the Gen 3. But anyway, speed sights. Let's talk about speed sights. So it sounds kind of hokey, like I said, but I was checking the website and I thought, I think there's maybe something to this and I want to try them out. So I gave them a call and tried using my credentials as a world famous podcaster. And what I got for that was an extended trial period with credit card numbers. So I think I'm going to wind up buying these in a few months, or after a few months of having them. But they say, I can send them back if I don't like them, and for a full refund. And you actually get a full refund as well after 30 days, I think. 30-day trial if you don't like them. So there's no reason not to try them. So what's the deal with speed sights? Well, as you can see, the rear sight, let's see if I can hold that up against myself here. You see the rear sight has got 2 diamonds. It's a traditional notch and post sight. It does count as a traditional notch and post sight, so don't worry about any of that. There are 2 diamonds. You can kind of see how the tops are flat, although there's some diamonds inset there. And then we have the front sight, which is also a diamond as well. And the concept is that you line up the diamonds. Now I'm way too close to the camera for, it's more like about, let me see, it's kind of something like that. It's kind of hard to line these up, but you get the point. The right and left points of the front diamond touch the inner right and left points of the rear diamonds. And, it's like there's some other hokey sights out there that are really hokey. I mean, a little almost pyramid, I forget what it's called, but it's like an almost pyramid with the little top of the pyramid you put on top as the front sight, you put on top of the rear, which is a pyramid. That I think is complete garbage. I think, sorry if you make them, sorry if you like them. If you like them, great. But our eyes as humans like to line things up horizontally and vertically, not like this. It's like I need to adjust it this way or that way to make those sights line up. In this case, these sights line up, you're adjusting your sight picture vertically or horizontally, just like normal. So I like that about these. The other thing I like is, well, obviously, super high vis front and super white high vis rear. I like that. They come in a few different colors. I chose the green because I like the green on my fiber optic RMR, fiber optic powered RMR. I really like the green. And traditionally, I've used red or orange fiber optic front sights on iron-sighted pistols, but I thought, let's just try the green. I do like it. Other thing I like about these is that you have a very, very generous, very wide rear notch, as you can see there. There's a lot of room in there, and it's very easy to drop that front sight, which is quite wide, but it's very easy to drop that front sight into the rear notch as you're making your sight picture. In addition, though, your eyes just very naturally line these diamonds up. You don't have to work real hard to get them lined up. It's your brain pretty much goes, bam, they're lined up, you know, and if it's not, you naturally line them up. So I've discovered that. And in addition then, because, you know, sure, the front sight's really wide, but you have this sharp point. It is pointed at the top, as you can see there. And so you have a precise aiming point. And all this stuff is written out on their website. And all these things are, all these features are boasted about on their website, on speedsights.com, I believe it is. I'm sorry I didn't prepare for the episode, but I'm pretty sure that's their website. So, you know, they have all these claims and all these testimonials about, you know, competitors like it and cops like it and the police department, you know, outfitted every one of their guns with them. Whatever, you know, I mean, it is what it is. For years, I've, you know, kind of visited their site, their website every now and then, looking for, just kind of thinking about it. And I finally decided to go for it and try them out. So far I like them. So far, in dry fire, before ever firing the gun, I was like, man, they line up so easy. I mean, couldn't it be that easy? Maybe so. The other thing that really interested me was that for the longest time, I've shot, for the most part, one eye closed, one eye squinted when I'm shooting my iron sights, to get that real precise aiming. And I really would like to be able to shoot target focused with iron sights. I do like shooting limited. Carry optics has been a miracle division for me. I love it, shooting the optic mounted to the pistol slide. But I still like my limited gun and would like to shoot irons again. And I'm thinking about putting these on my limited gun, and I think I will very soon. Just wanted to put them on this gun for GSSF, which we just talked about in a previous episode. But my theory is that because they're so bright and large, the dots are large, and they stand out very well. My theory is that I can look through the sights with a target focus and get a reasonable sight picture and make some reasonable shots. We have yet to see that. So I talked very briefly about my performance with these sights with this gun at the GSSF match, and it was better than last year. It was, but and by some margin, not just squeaked by, but I mean, you know, by some margin, I was a little bit better. But I just don't shoot this gun very well, and I really don't know why. And I'm not blaming the sights at all. So while that might not be a resounding, hey, everybody go around and buy these, just going to let you know that I'm trying them. And if you've ever thought about them, if you've ever heard about them, you know, maybe you should try them too. They do sell them with tritium inserts, but as I'm trying to shoot this, keep them on a competition gun, not a defensive weapon, and I don't really believe in tritium sights anyway. I just got the plain ones. And I think they're made out of aluminum. They install very easily. I didn't have to file anything like that. They install very easily. And I think these ran about $100. And with tritium, it's going to be more, maybe $150 or something. I forget. There is a set screw, in case you're curious. Right there, you can see between the rears. There is a set screw there that I dropped a little Loctite in and then cranked that down. But this is a somewhat of a first impression video. So far, pretty impressed. I'm going to put them on my limited gun and give it a whirl. It's got a better trigger than this gun. I'm much more accurate with that one than this gun. And we're going to see how it goes. However, it might be end of September or sometime in October before I have another chance to tell you about these again. But anyway, that was just a quick introduction. If you never heard of them before, Speed Sights, that's what they look like from the side. And they're made right here in the state of Washington. And if you think you like the concept, don't be shy. Try them out. I think it's a quality product. I don't know the people that work there. I'm not getting too much of a special deal. In the end, I'm going to pay retail for these. I don't think there's any reason I'm going to send them back. And so, yeah, there you go. Hope you like it. You know, any questions about that, send it to our email address, powerfactorshow@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and all the usual channels. Like us there. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks.